And we begin right there this morning with that big developing news from Capitol Hill overnight. The Senate voting to advance a deal that would move toward reopening the government. We're glad you're with us this Monday morning. I'm Adam Longo.
And I'm Adriana Hopkins. The move marks a critical step forward in ending the government shutdown, which is now the longest in U.S. history at 41 days. But there is still a lot that needs to happen before the government reopens.
7 News is on your side with team coverage this morning, tracking what it all means for you. Reporter John Gonzalez is live at Reagan National, where travel disruptions got worse over the weekend. But we're going to start things off with John Rogers at our alert desk with a look at what's next for lawmakers today. John, good morning.
Well, good morning, guys. This agreement does not include an extension of those health care subsidies. That's been a main argument that Democrats have been fighting for the past 6 weeks. Now, in a test vote, that's the first in a series of required procedural steps. The Senate voted 60-40 to approve compromise legislation. 8 Democrats crossed the aisle to support this. It reverses the mass firings of federal workers since the shutdown began and ensures federal workers get back pay. It also fully funds parts of the government, like food aid and vets programs, for the full fiscal year, and it funds all other government programs until the end of January. Now, as for those health care subsidies, those are still set to expire January 1st. But the deal promises a vote in mid-December on this matter. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is not happy with this compromise, saying he will not stop fighting for health care. The House, though, will still need to be called back into session to vote on this as well, so the shutdown is not over yet. The Senate reconvenes this morning, so we'll be tracking today's developments.
Well, thousands of travelers faced major disruptions this past weekend as FAA flight cuts took effect. Reporter John Gonzalez picks up our team coverage now from Reagan National, which was one of the travel hubs hit hardest by these flight cuts. John, good morning.
Absolutely. Good morning, Adriana. The numbers really are staggering. More than 2,700 canceled flights around the country Sunday alone, and Reagan National Airport had the most cancellations and delays, not just in the country, in the entire world. Take a look. Here's what the departure board looks like this morning as FAA restrictions tied to this government shutdown takes full effect. Travelers are still dealing with the ripple effects of this historic disruption. According to FlightAware, D.C. had over 350 canceled flights and 150 delays Friday, with average delays around 4 hours, and those issues continued all weekend. The FAA says the restrictions, starting at 4% and expected to reach 10% by the end of the week, aim to ease pressure on air traffic controllers working without pay. Travelers spoke frustration at the airport.
It is a lot of frustration for the travelers, for people working at the airport.
Kind of speechless with it because our world is just sort of really crazy right now. We got to get it together.
It's absurd. I think it's a complete failure of government, and the government serving itself and not the people. It's driving me nuts.
Total headache, disaster, nightmare.
It's terrible. It's just terrible. I feel like the American people are being held hostage right now.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warns it will take time for controllers to return to full capacity, even if the government reopens sometime this week. Airlines are offering refunds and for canceled flights or for those who chose not to fly this weekend. Passengers are encouraged to continue to update their airline apps and notifications. Reporting live at DCA, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
Well, if you're booking a flight right now or looking to rebook, 7 News is on your side with some tips here to get through it. Because of the widespread flight delays, go nonstop if you can. That's going to be a key thing. If your flight is delayed for more than an hour, there's a good chance you're not going to make any connecting flight. Also, you want to avoid those peak travel times, like early mornings and especially early evenings. Now, if you're booking a flight for Thanksgiving, book it with a credit card that has travel insurance and avoid the Sunday after the holiday. That is typically the busiest travel day of the year. And if your flight gets canceled or delayed significantly and you decide not to travel, you are entitled to a refund within 7 days if you paid by credit card.
Well, SNAP benefits will resume in Virginia this week, but not for everyone. Governor Glenn Youngkin says the food assistance will be made available no later than Thursday after the USDA directed 65% of monthly benefits be issued. In Virginia, that's more than 850,000 residents. The governor says 25% of benefits were already provided earlier this month through the Virginia Emergency Nutrition Assistance Initiative. Governor Youngkin says he's pausing that initiative now that SNAP benefits have resumed.
As the shutdown drags on, a group of former federal workers are seeing a massive swell of interest in a group that they formed earlier this year. It's called WellFed. And the purpose is to provide a Fed, or former Fed, a system of resources for career transitioning, mental health, or just a meal. 2 former HHS employees founded the group after being let go in February, and since then, they've created what amounts to a massive support group to help government workers with their next steps.
It's not just one thing that people need when they're in career transition and unexpected career transition, but it's a whole constellation of support. And so not only do we provide that resume support, but we also have had interview prep sessions. We've brought in recruiters.
Now, WellFed has an event coming up this Sunday for local families happening in Vienna. I put sign-up details into my story on our homepage, WJLA.com, and additional details about a big career transition event that they have coming up scheduled for December 6th. Now, as lawmakers get closer to reopening the government, be sure to stay with 7 News for updates along the way. We'll let you know if and when the House votes to advance this latest legislation on our homepage and on our free 7 News app.